Right, so Manchester United are officially top of the Premier League now by 3 points ahead of Liverpool, ahead of that game on Sunday that they do play against Liverpool, in which now really sets up for a mouth-watering fixture, and that should really be the most important fixture in the Premier League so far this season. But Manchester United, of course, have gone top tonight with a win over Burnley at Turf Moor, a 1-0 win courtesy of a Paul Pogba goal, which did divide the two sides. And it was a really entertaining game for a game that only consisted of one singular goal, and it was a game of massive incidents as well. I mean, you think of in the first half an incident that went to VAR, obviously a potential Luke Shaw red card that in the end was not given. Then Harry Maguire had what I thought was a really clear goal disallowed by VAR as well in the first half. There was a few incidents here and there in both halves as well, but overall I think the standard of refereeing now in the Premier League is just an absolute joke, and that's what the title of this video is that the refs are just shocking, and they were once again tonight. It was on show once again tonight with the overall standard of refereeing, and that's why I just purely believe that VAR isn't the problem with VAR, which actually doesn't make any sense. But I think the main problem with VAR actually is the people in charge, because let's be honest, the standard of refereeing, particularly this season, but for a long time now, has been absolutely appalling, and this season, since VAR has come into play, it's been really shown, because the refereeing decisions, in terms of VAR especially, have been absolutely terrible. And once again tonight it was on show, because I purely do believe that Luke Shaw was very lucky to stay onto the pitch. And actually, one thing I want to say before I get into the whole unbiased thing in this video, I've seen Manchester United fans coming out on Twitter and saying that the referees are corrupt against Manchester United. Are you actually having a laugh? Are you literally alright in the head? It just shows a complete lack of intelligence, because let's be honest here, every single Premier League fan, bar maybe Manchester United fans, and maybe even some Manchester United fans can acknowledge this as well, Manchester United have gotten a ridiculous amount of luck from referees, including VAR, and to be able to say that as a Manchester United fan, that VAR goes against them, I think it's an absolutely laughable claim, and if I'm honest, and I think United fans have finally got what's coming to them in terms of VAR. I mean, that's literally the first decision in quite some time I can remember that's actually gone against them, and the reason I think it cancels itself out is because I think that Harry Maguire had a very legitimate goal disallowed in the first half as well, the header, and I think it was Eric Peters that was fouled in the build-up. I think that was an absolute joke decision as well. I think United should have gone 1-0 up from that goal, and that's simply why I'll go easy on United fans for the whole Shaw red card thing. But I do think as well that overall the decisions from the referee in this game, Kevin Friend, who is proving once again to be one of the weakest referees of a really bad bunch in this Premier League this season, because once again his refereeing performance tonight was absolutely ridiculously bad, and it will come under question once again surely in the media during the week now. But overall I'll actually focus on the football now and go into the actual unbiased side of me, because of course as a Chelsea fan I'm obviously going to hate teams like Manchester United. It's just the nature of football, and overall I was really annoyed when I saw that comment by a Manchester United fan on Twitter to say that the referees are corrupt against Manchester United, because let's be honest, it's just not true, is it? But a very good performance from Manchester United overall. I thought Paul Pogba actually ran the show tonight. I mean, it's his first decent performance from my knowledge for a long period of time now. If you are a fan of this channel, you'll know I'm not the biggest fan of Paul Pogba. I purely think he's one of the most overrated players in the Premier League, because I think he's a player of moments. I think he really has an average performance every single game, but he just pulls off one good pass or one good goal that has everybody talking, and everyone's like, oh, Paul Pogba played immense today, even though it was a really average performance. But tonight I thought he was really good, controlled the game, he was very good in the ball. I think it was purely because of the fact he had Nemanja Matic behind him, who I think was very solid today, and anchored the back four very well. I thought Eric Bailly, his impact on this Manchester United defence since he's come back from injury has been massive. I think he's purely Manchester United's best defender, because I don't really rate Harry Maguire, I don't really rate Victor Lindelof either, and I think Eric Bailly, if he was to stay fit, would be a massive part of this Manchester United team going forward. I think Burnley though did have a few opportunities themselves to actually get back in the game, particularly that one at the end where James Tarkowski absolutely scuffed it, I think in like the 91st or 92nd minute, which would have been an absolute limbs goal at the end for Burnley. But overall they didn't put away any of their chances, and Manchester United do go home with 3 points. That puts them 3 points clear of Liverpool, and that game on Sunday, as I said earlier on in this video, is going to be absolutely huge. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I'm not one to rave about Manchester United as potential title contenders. I purely don't think that they are still yet, but if they beat Liverpool on Sunday, I even could admit that I think they're probably title favourites. I think that you probably have to argue that they are title favourites, because they'd be 6 points ahead of the reigning champions in Liverpool, who still, even though they've been on a bad run of form recently, have looked just as good as they were last season for most parts of this season. So you'd have to say United probably would be the favourites for the Premier League title. And it's really shaping up for a very interesting title race, because I'm one of the ones, especially like a lot of people, that didn't really expect Manchester United to be one of the title favourites this season. I think Liverpool, even though they have been poor in recent weeks, they still have to be in contention. I mean, there's no way that they can't. Manchester City are really getting their form back together as well. I think they're definitely in title favourites at this moment in time before that game on Sunday between United and Liverpool. And it's really shaping up for a very interesting title race in what has been an absolutely incredible season so far, and you really do tend to forget the fact that we're not even halfway through the season yet, yet, because of course this weekend's match day does actually, you know, mark the halfway stage of the season, and so far it's been absolutely bonkers. It's been like no Premier League season we've ever seen before, and obviously the fact that there's no fans in the ground for any of the games probably has played a factor in that. But yeah, an absolutely massive game for Manchester United, a massive 3 points for them, because as I said when they bet Wolves at Old Trafford a few weeks ago in that 1-0 win, these are the type of wins that you look at and think, you know, that is the hallmark of champions, because if you want to be Premier League champions, especially in a season like this, you're going to have to win dirty, and I know Manchester United this season haven't really played well in the majority of their games, if I'm being perfectly honest, but what matters is the points on the board, and they're really grinding out wins here, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer actually does seem to be turning his critics around in terms of their judgment of him, because although they are actually knocked out of the Champions League, in the Premier League, I mean, the 3 points clear after 17 games, I think if you'd asked him that at the start of the season, would he take that, I think he'd absolutely snap your hand off, and I think most Manchester United fans wouldn't be in that frame of mind as well. But yeah, overall, in terms of Burnley's performance, I mean, they can't really look in this game with too much shame, because I think they actually played relatively well. They made it a very, very interesting encounter for Manchester United, and they were in the game pretty much for the entire 90 minutes, if I'm honest, and they should be okay in terms of relegation. I mean, I know I did a video last week with the whole relegation candidate thing and what I think the relegation battle will result to at the end of the season, and Burnley were of course in that. I do think that they should be safe though, as long as Sean Dyche is in charge of this Burnley team, because I thought about it during the game. If you actually look at Burnley's lineup today, how many of those players would actually get into other Premier League sides? I mean, probably Nick Pope, Dwight McNeil, who wasn't even on the pitch today, he came on as a sub. Maybe Chris Wood on a good day, maybe James Tarkowski, Ben Mee, you could say on a good day as well, but overall, this Burnley team is extremely weak. I mean, you have players like Robbie Brady, Matt Lowton, Eric Peters, those kind of players you just say are probably past it at Premier League level, but somehow Sean Dyche keeps grinding out results with these guys on a weekly basis, and as I said in that relegation battle video during the week, if you want to go and check that out, feel free to do so. I did say that Sean Dyche, if he leaves Burnley, they're absolutely screwed, and I think once he leaves Burnley, if he does of course, I think Burnley will be right back down to the Championship with no questions asked whatsoever. But yeah, as I said now, I'm really looking forward to this mouth-watering encounter on Sunday between Liverpool and Manchester United. I actually don't know who's at home. I'm actually going to check that right now, because I genuinely have no idea who's at home for that game. We will go onto the old reliable sofa score and see who is at home for that game, and it is Liverpool. It is at Anfield, so that actually makes it a lot bigger of a game than it actually was before, because if Manchester United can take 3 points away from Anfield against this Liverpool team, who yes are missing players like Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez, it would be an absolutely humongous statement of intent from Manchester United, and yeah, if they could go into that game, as I said multiple times in this video, I think they would probably be title favourites. But yeah, I think that's where we're going to leave this video, so if you did enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like. As per usual, 20 likes would be massively appreciated by myself. Also, if you could subscribe to the channel if you are new, because we are looking to now hit 1,300 subscribers as soon as we possibly can. If you do hit that subscribe button, it costs you absolutely nothing and makes my day, so it is really a win-win situation. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. See ya.